Today is the 22nd of January 2024. January 2024. Happy New Year's. It's going to be late. This might be coming out in February, but it's going to be late. But Happy New Year's nonetheless. And let's get into the month. So we're in a new 12-week block, which means how I'm going to be training is going to be slightly different to how it was the previous 12 weeks. The biggest thing being I'm no longer going to be focusing on strength. I'm going to be focusing more power. The way that's going to be showing is in my rep ranges. We're going to be going down from sets of 4 or 5 to more stuff with just 3 sets, and reps of 5 to more exercise with just reps of 3. For example, the snatch, that's going to stay the same purely because I haven't actually really made any progress in the snatch during the first 12 weeks because of how I was training. But a clean and jerk, that's gone down from 3 times 5s and 4 times 5s. I don't think I did 5 times 5s with the clean and jerk, to just 3 times 5s. Along with that, some of the exercises that I was doing before have been completely removed. I'm not squatting at all during this 12-month block, not in the way that I normally would be. I'll be doing explosive squatting. Get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. If you go onto my Instagram and you look at the end of my gym training in 2023, you'd see what I mean. But a lot of this type of stuff that I was doing at the end of that highlight is what I'm going to be doing during this 12 weeks. Along with that, plyometrics are back and they've changed. So we're in the next plyo block. It's going to be 3 months long, be 3 days. We've got 2 bilateral days, so both legs, or just normal plyometrics, and then 1 unilateral day. That's going to be Tuesday. Last week, I've only did Tuesday and Thursday because I was competing on Sunday, so I didn't want to do too much and overload. So the focus of this month is going to be on purely just sprinting. I'm still going to be doing plyometrics, I'm still going to be doing gym work, and you're going to be seeing videos of that if you haven't already. But what I mainly want to focus on for this video is just my technique out of the blocks. So in December, I did a lot of work on my glute meats and I strengthened them up, and that showed in my meets in January. I'm going to put the link to that in the cards up above. What happened was my first 20 is about on par with everyone else, which is great because I've never been on par with everyone else. I'm usually behind, but the detriment to that is I'm building up a lot of momentum, and usually I have to work really hard to put up momentum later on in the race, but I'm used to that. But I'm not used to the way I'm building it now. So once I adjust, I can expect my 60 meters times to improve. They haven't really improved yet, but once I do get used to it and I'm able to adjust to this new positioning, I'll be better. But the real problem is that whilst my momentum building has improved, so once I figure out how to do it, I'm going to be faster, my shin angles are about as poor as ever. So once I figure out how to get the shin angles correct, I'm going to build more momentum, which means I'm most likely going to have to struggle with the same problem. So we're just going to have to see how long it takes me to solve this. Hopefully it won't take too long, but we'll see. But one thing that I was focusing on last week during my training sessions on Tuesday and Thursday was the blocks. I did other stuff, but that was the main thing I focused on, and it was getting that split and then the rip. I practiced at home at the start of January doing a lot of, it wasn't block starts, I don't have blocks, but it was just 4-point starts trying to get the positioning right. And I got the positioning right in a 2-point, a 4-point, and I struggled in a 3-point, but that's understandable, it's a 3-point. I managed to get some crossover, but since I've only had 2 training sessions in between that, because this was mid-January, this is not start of January, it was mid-January. This was after my first meet in January. I only had about a week of doing that with 4-point, and then I had another week of trying to get that in blocks, but reality was only 2 days. So there's only so much we could do in 2 days, and then it was Sunday where I had a competition, and at that day, and there's only so much I could do. And I'm be thinking about trying to get what I could do in a 4-point into the blocks, so it was a bit iffy, to say the least. But what I did manage to do was correct some of the technical issues that I had in December. The biggest one that I was focusing on was my trail leg, my leg that was coming out of the blocks. Well, the leg that once I come out of the blocks was about to switch the second step. It was dragging behind and it was too far back, which meant I was spending more time on the floor than I needed to be. And I've sort of fixed that, I mean, to a degree. And along with that, it was the angle I was coming out of the blocks with. I'm low out of the blocks, I'm straight out of the blocks, meaning my angle is completely straight. Before I was saying my angle is more like this. Now my body angle is completely straight. And I'm actually firing from my glute meats because they're stronger now. So I'm able to get into more deeper positions. I just need to get used to the position. And along with that is my trail leg isn't coming up, it's going forwards. It could be coming low, but I'll take coming forwards over coming up any day. Because now we're able to get better in this new block start and get better positions. So as my body understands, we should expect myself to just go lower and lower and lower. Not just my body positioning, but my angle with every single step I'm taking, and then hopefully the shin angles will just follow. But I have noticed something which is kind of started to annoy me. So this on the left is me when I had my competition on like the 17th of January, somewhere around there. This was the first meet of January. This was in between the rounds. And there's something I want to highlight, which is the back leg. If you look here, you can see the angle is about 113 degrees. It's supposed to be 120, but it's close enough that it's fine. And then if we switch to yesterday, this was Sunday, 21st of January. This was the meet that I did not like at all. We look at the back leg here. You can see it's more acute by about 10 degrees. So 10 degrees might not seem like a lot, but it does change a lot because it means that I'm not able to push out the blocks properly because I'm not in a power position. Because my back leg is supposed to be the leg that's specifically in a position similar to a quarter squat so that it can just release quick. And what happens because my back leg isn't in a quarter squat position, it takes longer to come out of the blocks because yes, there is a more of a push, but the push is about as powerful as it would have been in a quarter squat. So I'm just wasting energy here. And then for fun, we can just look at the front legs and we can see that they're 9 degrees. They're basically 9 degrees. So. Maybe nothing was really good on the 21st because that shouldn't be like that. So most likely I need to push back the blocks by 1. Because that's another thing that I was doing was it was on the left when I first started to change up my block positioning, and I changed up the front one and I changed the back, and that's the reason why these angles are just out of whack. They're all wrong because they are wrong. This isn't the normal way I count my blocks. If it was, these angles would be the exact same every single time, no problem. Because before this, I was doing 2 steps, 3 steps. But recently, I've decided to try and experiment to see if I can get into more of a power position. Because I don't always feel powerful in the block setups that I have. Something that I was noticing yesterday was when I was sprinting out of the blocks, well, when I was trying to get into the set position out of the blocks with the blocks in this position, I wasn't powerful. And that's most likely because they were too scrunched up and I didn't realize. If I took a picture of myself from the side and just looked, maybe things would have been different, but I didn't. And we live and we learn. But I want my block setup to be closer to the one on the left than it is to the one on the right. The one on the left is basically perfect, whilst the one on the right, not so much. And I think part of the problem is this block might just be a tiny bit forwards, just not by much, but a tiny bit too forwards, and that's kind of ruined my positioning. But now that I'm focusing on my angles, we should be able to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But this is something that I have been worried about because if I'm not getting the right angles, things aren't going to go very well. One thing I am happy for is if you look at the back leg, see the way it just comes through. What I really want to pay attention to is how quickly this back leg comes through, which isn't very quick. You can tell how quick it is by this front leg, because the second this front leg hits on the floor, if this back leg isn't about here, too far back. So look, I'd say we hit the floor here. My back leg is not past this line yet. Look at the foot. And then same thing here. Come out the blocks. Ooh. There, I'll say there. Still not. This foot on the left is a bit. There's pressure. I'm actually trying to push from this one, so this foot like a few spikes have hit. So let me just drag it. Okay, I would say that's fair. So yeah, this foot's also further back, but it's not as far back as this one. I would say this foot is, in fact, you can even see the shadow here. It's literally right on the line, just a bit back, whilst this foot on the left is, it just left the blocks. It took its time, and it just left the blocks. It's not really gone anywhere. So I'm able to pull my trail leg forwards a bit faster, but not by much. And then the next step is just like how I always expect it to be, which is good, and then the hammer's back. And then go for the next one. And it's the same thing here. Once I'm out of the blocks, my steps are good. But this step was even really good. But my problem is just that first step. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on for the rest of the month, as well as most likely February, because I highly doubt I want to get this problem done by January, which is getting my back leg to just come through fast. Because every millisecond that it's behind is wasted energy and wasted time where I'm not able to really just hammer hard. But one thing I am happy with is that for finally once I was actually able to get through and my legs relatively low. This one I was purposely trying to stay down low because I was already focusing on it, because usually my foot would just cycle up a bit with this new block start I have. But the fact that it's not doing that here goes to show that things have changed. Whilst this is just a block start, it's not in a competition. It was the same thing in the competition. My starts didn't really change much. What changed was my energy levels, and because of that, the amount of power I was producing. I was basically running the entire thing on E, which is not very good. But every single step was powerful. I was hammering down and back, and everything was good. But I wasn't the first person to get my foot down. I spent a decent amount of time just chilling in the air like that, which is useless. It's completely useless. So moving forwards, what I'm going to focus on is getting that trail leg forwards faster, but along with that is being more relaxed. Because I know that if I want to be able to get out of the blocks faster, I need to be relaxed. I need to know when to push, when to relax, and when to switch and how to switch. Because if I can do that, I'll be able to make my first 3 steps faster. And the first step to being able to pull that off is just getting that trail leg through faster. It's kind of hard to do in the blocks because the blocks is when you're going to be the most tense. And if you're tense, you're not going to be able to switch your legs quick. But if I can figure out how to do this, I can expect something good come February. So I'm not sure if I'm actually going to go to the track this week. Today's Monday, because I just competed yesterday, so there's not much of a reason to train. I might take Tuesday off and come on Thursday, but we'll see. But that's going to be my main focus. It's just the first step, because if I can get my foot through and right before I land on the ground, this leg could be right there, I would be in a much better position than if my foot's back here. My foot being back here is useless to me, but my foot's there, we're much better. Because if we look at, we can even use this one again. If you look here, just look at how this foot just comes through as this foot just attacks back. We land on the floor and this foot is basically right there. It's not as good as this one where we hit the ground and this foot is basically ready to just go through for the third step. But we just need to be more consistent. If we're more consistent, we're going to be able to get the best of both worlds, because these starts are very good at what they're good at, but very bad at what they're bad at. But luckily, they're both good at different things. And luckily, again, they're both me. So if I can get the best of both of these starts into one start, I can expect something good. And all I need to do for both starts is really just fix the trail leg fix the trail leg on the first step, and then just grab what I can from both of these and do my best when it comes time for my next competition at Bucks.